Wah? Wah. No battle cries today. The only thing I'm battling is the size of this help file. Holy crap. That is the biggest. This help file is bigger than Dungeons and Dragons. The Windows 95 game that I played, the source code of it in its entirety. Holy crap. I need the map options, please. How the heck am I going to find that? I guess this is intended to be printed. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. If you're just tuning in, welcome. I am Ash. I am kind of working, but I wanted to just share what I was doing while I was working. Good morning, Chepis. Good morning, Kokyan. Good morning, Arthritic One. I'm not working my day job. I'm doing a bit of research into my video editing process and seeing if there's something that can help me. Here, the help file is so big that it truncated at the very top of the command line. All right, that's not something that I can do at this moment. Wow. No, my day job is not a desk one. It is very much a physical job. I wanted to, I wasn't sure if I was going to have the time because I have to be off at 9 today. So I had to postpone my HeroQuest stream to, right now I'm thinking Thursday, which is very regrettable. Because I want to give HeroQuest the time that it deserves so that I can get through a whole quest, you know, and bug it out and have plenty of time to break it. But copy that so I don't ever lose it. Oh, she's already in here. Good. Paste. Replace. But in place of that, here is what I would like to do. Here's what I propose. I have been building a collection over time, and I've done one video exactly of something called the Toy Box series. This is Toy Box FT01. I don't know why they refer to them as Toy Box in catalog materials. It doesn't say Toy Box anywhere on the box. However, the FT might stand for something. It doesn't specify, so maybe the FT means something like figurine toy box, something like that. But what these are collections of miniatures made by Games Workshop, and they are themed, they are gray, they are paintable, they are intended for hobbyist use rather than wargaming use, but you could use these in your wargaming. In fact, they are all existing sculpts of wargaming and dungeon crawling miniatures produced by Citadel around the same time. So we're looking at, actually earlier, because these came out in 2000. So looking at FT01. So what is FT01? FT01 is a collection of everything on the back, specifically a minotaur, 4 bats, 4 giant rats, 4 giant spiders, and 4 snotlings. That's not the only one I have. I've been collecting these over time, and I have 3 left to get before my collection is complete. But I would really like to start opening these because I want to start kit bashing them for my HeroQuest project. And that can't happen while they're in their boxes waiting on me to make content about them. That's why I haven't opened them yet. So FT02, those are the enemies for Warhammer Quest. Yes, they are. And this is a great way to get the Warhammer Quest minis without having to pay Warhammer Quest prices. Except for the Orcs and the Skaven. But the Orcs and the Skaven are available in other toy box collections. There are 8 of these. There are 8 FTs. FT01 through FT08. And I have 5 of them. But I can tell you what the contents are. Are there any 3D scans of them? There are 3D scans of many of these. If you go to Thingiverse and look for HeroQuest, you'll find that the two are kind of associated Venn diagram wise because of the Citadel miniatures. I think that they went through and wiped out anything starting with Citadel or Games Workshop. I could be wrong, but you'll have the best luck looking for HeroQuest. Warhammer, you can find a bunch of stuff on Warhammer, but it'll be contemporary. It won't be classic Warhammer, so it won't be this older stuff. But the Skaven, you can find a lot of Skaven that were manufactured around this time frame, such as those intended for use with HeroQuest. But anyways, FT02 is the Skink and Lizardman army. I can show you the contents of FT02, even though I don't own FT02, because I own the minis that come in an FT02 package, because the Skinks and the Lizardmen are armies that you could obtain in other games. The Lizardmen army is actually the Saurus. They can be bought as a Warhammer Fantasy Battles army, or they could. You can find them on eBay still. And the Skinks are, I believe, are the Skinks in Warhammer Quest? I have Warhammer Quest, but I haven't opened the box. I have opened the box many times, but I can't remember if the Skinks are in there, because when it comes to Skinks, my memory lapses. I have a lot of Skinks. I've had Skinks from many different sources, and it all goes back to when I was able to buy a pack of like 3 in a blister package. They're not okay. I don't know where exactly they came from then. I have a ton of Skinks. 1 second, and I will begin showcasing the minis. Mama Skink and Papa Skink. All right. So, here are the Lizardmen. They are not my favorite Lizardmen, but they're not bad. The arm comes separate. It's detachable. There it went. It proved me correct. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to make an example. As is the head. These don't come attached by default. You have to put them together. You can rotate them to where you want them to be. This is when Games Workshop really started to getting into the customize your own figurines positions and things like that before you glue them in place. And I like that. There are variations. This is a skink. With a scythe, mouth closed. We've got axe. And we've got a sickle. And they all come with these shields. It's got the snake emblem on it. I hope that resolution's coming out good. I hope you can see this stuff clearly. It would be a waste if it's all blurry or pixelated or anything. Minotaur. I painted my Minotaur black to match the Beastmen that came with Battle Masters because I was using the Beastmen to represent the Chaos Beastmen for my Hero Quest custom expansion. The Minotaur comes with FT02. However, the Skinks come with the Minotaur comes with FT01. However, the Skinks come with FT02, which I don't have. But the Lizardmen and the Skinks, whoa, the package is green, so the chroma key is affecting it. That's an example of what they could look like painted, assembled and painted. And then the Skinks, although they're painted green, they're going to show up as gray. They're actually painted teal. But at least they're not see-through. That's pretty much the entirety of FT02. Eben, good morning. How the material reacts to paint? Fine. I used acrylics. I used folk art. You could use Army Painter. You could use Citadel. I probably should use Citadel for these, actually, just because I've heard great things about that paint and I've wanted to use it myself. But I haven't tried any other kind of paint other than the really cheap folk art acrylic. So FT01. I missed the Chaos Dwarf monopose figures. I had a chance to buy Chaos Dwarves twice, and I missed it both times. That said, Chaos Dwarves are another faction that I am using for my custom hero quest with the monopose. Hold on. So acrylic doesn't cause any dent. That's correct. Acrylic is the safest paint you could possibly use. It washes off with soap and water. Even it just peels right off. If you paint your figures and you like how they look, you can then apply a sealant, and pretty much any sealant will do. I think that there are specific recommendations that people like to give in regards to brand, and there may be specific sealants that are perfect for miniature painting. Chuppus got to run. Thank you for dropping in. We will be here. Thank you for the watch time. I appreciate it. I always appreciate it. Maybe if you've got time, you can check out this Orc Busker, 3D printed off of Thingiverse. You can find him right now if you search for Orc Buster. He is Busker, B-U-S-K-E-R. He is an orc bard from Hero Quest 2021, but in the style of the 90s Citadel orc. He looks just like one of the Hero Quest orcs. Classic Hero Quest orc. And the concept is just as ridiculous as the contemporary. This was a 3D printed one. I used a resin. Elegoo Mars. There are now cheaper printers. There are now better printers, but that's what I used to get that. FT01 Snotling. The Snotling is just basically a goblin, but he's a runt. And they all look like that. Monopose, they've got clubs. There are two variations of the Minotaur. One has a club and one has an axe. The axe one I have found is way more popular, but it kind of seems like Games Workshop made both variants and they just dropped in at random the Minotaurs. You can get this Minotaur with Warhammer Quest or with Talisman 3rd edition. Talisman 3rd edition comes with a Minotaur. It may have an axe, it may have a club. Seems to be random. I've owned many copies of Talisman, and it seems to be random every time. But the Minotaur is a playable character in Talisman, because in Talisman you can play as the Chaos faction. Giant Bat. These guys come on stands to represent their flight. I'm going to be using these in Hero Quest. They are a Warhammer Quest monster. Spider. Giant spider. Arachnophobia trigger. It's just plastic. However, when this is up against your heroes on the board, he looks gigantic. All of these are going on 3D printed Hero Quest bases that I got from Minis 3D in Spain. I was a bit dubious about ordering these, but they were really cheap. So though the shipping is pretty expensive, I ordered a bunch to kind of make up for that. And I got them. I ordered like 50 or 60. And I like them. I like them a lot. They're the exact size they need to be for Hero Quest stuff. And what I'm going to do is clip the bases off the existing minis that I have. Or I might leave them on in the case of this bat. And then they'll be on Hero Quest bases. That's the goal of my Kit Bash project. Finally, the giant rat from FT01. I love them. Love them. They can be used as part of a grand Skaven campaign. All right. I also got these larger bases, the 1x2 square bases I can use for larger figurines, such as the Minotaur. They'll take up 2 spaces on my board, but that's what we want. We want those larger minis, and they'll follow the rules of the large minis as set forth and described in the older rule books of Hero Quest. All right, next. I've covered FT01 and FT02. This is FT03. This is the Wizards pack. All of the minis in this pack can be obtained in the Talisman 3rd edition base game and expansions. But obtaining those expansions can be quite costly. If you can find just one box of FT03, it's worth it to get just the FT03 for the minis. So like this one here, this is the Chaos Sorcerer from Talisman 3rd edition. It's the same mini, exactly. And Dragon's Tower is one of the toughest expansions to get for Talisman 3rd edition. You can get it for 4th edition easily, but 4th edition's a totally different style, aesthetic. That's when Fantasy Flight, and now I think Pegasus Spiel, owns the game, and their mini style is very different. Here are these guys. I have not taken them off the sprue yet. You get a fire mage. I think they call this guy a shaman, actually. No. Yeah, this might be. I think he's the bright mage. I can't remember anymore. I'd have to look him up. You get this awesome guy. These guys are going to be painted red. I know that they look like they're bad guys, but I'm going to provide them as alternate heroes in Hero Quest. Even the Chaos Sword. I don't know. I really don't know. I might have to paint them black and call call them evil. I'm having a tough time, honestly. And I say black because that's the color of the European minis in HeroQuest that came with Wizards of Morcar and Against the Ogre Horde. You might think that they're blue. There are a lot of photographs and official documentation which show them being a bright blue. I've never seen a bright blue Wizard of Morcar in real life. All I've seen are black. I'm told that's rare. That can't be the case. I've only seen the black. Here's an astrologer. This guy, I believe, is also a Dragon's Tower mini. He's tough to get. He is tough to get if you're looking at expansions only. That's only 4. There's still 4 more to go. A first, or a rarity, a female Citadel character. I think she's called the Sorceress. But this one I'm definitely going to offer as a HeroQuest hero alternative. This one, I can't remember what he's called. He's ready to tell you about the end times. But they are playable in Talisman. You can play as these characters. Okay, this is the Shaman, I believe. I believe that is the Shaman. And then that is the Druid. Wearing his furs. These guys are really cool. Really, really cool. I'm going to take them off their sprues. I'm keeping the original ones that came with my expansions, so that they'll be ready to play right out of the box. That's FT03. And that is probably my favorite out of all these. Is that a lionhead helm on his head? Let's take a look. I get Wolf. Focus. Come on, focus. I get Wolf from that. It's just a headdress that goes down the back of his head as well. FT01 through 3. FT04 gets Wolf, maybe even Coyote. Could be Coyote. I think it would be a lot more dramatic and awesome if it was like Wolf, but it could be any canid species you may desire. This one's for the Orc lovers. FT04 is all greenskins. FT04 comes with 7 minis. This one's called the Orc Mob. We're going to get a poor look at what they are on the back. We have here the Goblin Fanatic that comes with the base game of Talisman 3rd Edition, and the Black Orc that I think comes with Talisman City 3rd Edition. Everybody else is from Warhammer Quest. This is the first time I've opened this package. I'm going to do a more detailed video looking at these minis up close and kind of give all these their own spotlight. Taking another brand new FT04 out of the world today. I'm not destroying it, I'm just opening it. They all come with Games Workshop miniature catalogs. All right. We get the Goblin Fanatic, as promised. Looks like he stepped in some gum, wielding his giant ball and chain. He looks kind of silly. We've got the Warhammer Quest Orc Boys. We have 2 with bows, and we have 2 with well, no, I'm sorry. We have 1 with a bow and 1 with a sword. 1 of each orc. We've also got a shield. Skull with bat wings. Now, the thing we have 2 of each are the goblin spearmen and archers, and I guess shields with emblems that would imply that 2 of them are night goblins and 2 of them are like wolf riders. I don't know the specifics of goblin clans in Warhammer Fantasy. The crown jewel of this collection is available as a standalone army. You can buy a box of them for, in other words. And it is a playable character. I believe in Talisman City, it is the Black Orc. Black orcs are supposed to be stronger orcs. They may have other qualities. That's the Orc Mob Pack. I'm glad it's in good condition. Every FT series box I get is beat up pretty badly when I get it. And it always makes me think something in there's broken. And that has happened to me once so far. Maybe twice. A miniature inside being broken, but I think it was broken and then put back in. Showed in pictures, all that stuff. FT05 is called the Knight's Retinue, and I don't have that one yet. It comes with 4, I believe, knights on the ground. There, I think, just 2 spearmen, 2 swordsmen, and the big look at me gotcha of the package is a knight in full armor on horseback, and he's awesome. That one looks awesome. I struggle a bit with whether or not to put any of them in Hero Quest. The knight on horseback, I probably could, but it would have to be a very special map. You can't just have a knight on a horse running through the halls, I guess, unless it's supposed to be a ghost. You could make it work in that case. That's FT05, which I don't have yet. FT06, I do have. FT06 is the Adventurers Pack. And it has the box art of Talisman 3rd Edition on the cover because they really liked reusing this art. All of their art that they have that you've seen, the box art for Mighty Warriors was actually the cover of a novel, and that novel was just like, had nothing to do with Mighty Warriors. They were like, oh, the art fits, we'll just use it. This is what comes with the Adventurers Pack. Yeah, the Barbarian does look very Conan-esque. And 4 of these, namely the Dwarf in the lower left, and the heroes, the top 3 rightmost heroes, are all Warhammer Quest minis. They are all the heroes that come with Warhammer Quest. Dwarf, Elf, Wizard, and Barbarian. The other 4 are, again, Talisman expansion minis. You have the Witch Elf in the top row. Then in the bottom you have the Halfling, the Troll Slayer, and the Assassin. I'll just dump them out unceremoniously. The Witch Elf, she's made in 94 and she's being redistributed in the year 2000 as part of this line. It's pretty amazing if you think about it. Witch Elf is absolutely, if you can't see it, don't worry, she's not nude, she's got stuff on. But another female character to give to my female inclined players for Hero Quest. Very happy about that one. I don't think I'm going to allow duplicates of the Dwarf elf, wizard, and barbarian. And the reason for that is that I don't know. They just take up room. You've already got dwarf, elf, wizard, barbarian. Should I offer alternative sculpts? Why would I do that when HeroQuest has awesome sculpts? Then again, this barbarian looks pretty dang cool. He's pretty cool. Stay in focus. Stay in focus. Stay in focus. Pretty dang cool. Very big sword. I'm impressed that he was able to stay in good condition. Assassin. Yeah, I like that barbarian a lot. It's a tough call because it's like, is it more detailed? Yes. Does it match the scale? Yes. If I put it in, won't people just want to always play the alternate sculpts and then I'll feel like I'm not paying homage to HeroQuest? Yeah, that's probably it. It's probably some stupid contrived reason like that. I'll get over myself. The Troll Slayer. Here's the thing about the Troll Slayer. He is Warhammer mythos, which Talisman is loosely based in. It uses Warhammer lore. Talisman, he's referred to as the Troll Slayer. There is also a Troll Slayer character expansion for Warhammer Quest. This is not the same mini. That sculpt is a little bit different, but only a little bit different. Like, it's so similar that it was pointless to make a new sculpt. They should have just used this one. Having said that, I could probably use this if I get another one, which I think I might have it, as a Warhammer Quest expansion character. I would need to just go proxy the cards and stuff. That would save me about $100. And not only that, but the Witch Elf. The Witch Elf is extremely similar to the Witch Elf character expansion model that is available for Warhammer Quest, or was available. Now, one of my favorites, the Halfling. He's not a dwarf. He's a halfling, entirely different race. He's cheesing too. He actually looks like a celebrity, although I can't say which one. Love the idea of the halfling. The halfling warlock is one of my favorite characters in HeroQuest 2021. There was one more. Where are you? Ah, the elf. This one came a bit painted, partially painted. Not badly either. It's green, so of course my chroma key is going to tell you that it's invisible. Magic. That is FT06. FT05 being the Knight's Retinue. FT07 is next. And we're almost done. FT07 is the Elves. It's just called Elves. And I'm told that these are High Elves, as opposed to, say, Dark Elves or Wood Elves in the Warhammer lore. And I've showed people the back of the box, and they have persisted with that information, so that's what we're going to get in here. This one is not opened. It is being opened now. Not as carefully as I would like. So I realize this is a bit of a different stream for me, but it's along the same vein as what I like to talk about with HeroQuest. Because the reason I'm collecting these at all is to put them in my HeroQuest custom campaign. Somebody made Mound of the Beastmen, which was a campaign that used custom minis, tiles, everything. They don't really provide you with any of that. They just say, if you've got these minis, that should represent them. So I'm going to do the same thing. So here are the elves. Except I have a ton of factions for mine and basically doubling the existing Hero Quest base game and expansion factions. 1-to-1. Elves. So, we've got Elf Rangers looking pretty hoity-toity, which is fine because they're high elves. Although you can't really get a whole sense of elf from here. I love that their quivers are kind of at their side and front. They are equipped with longbows and hoods, covering their elvish ears. There are actually 4 archers with this pack, and there are no discernible differences between any of the 4. In addition to that, there are 4 more minis. 2 elf spearmen and 2 elf. Maybe those are wood elves, actually. Maybe these are wood elves. I'm not sure, but the high elves are the ones that have the tall, pointy helmets. You know what? I think that's all wrong. The high elves on the box don't look like the minis. The minis look like the dark elves. Yeah, these minis look like dark elves to me. So I may have dark elf archers and dark elf spearmen. Boy, if I do, that's going to make me very, very happy. And we have 2 different factions of elf here. 2 different clans, rather. We've got shields with the symbol of the sun and with the symbol of the dragon. So I think I've got dark elves for my chaos-touched elves. That makes me very happy if that is the case. I need somebody to confirm that for me, but the box art high elves, and then I think those should be dark elves. They look just like the dark elves from the Dark Elf collection. I could be wrong, but I hope I'm not, because I don't want to have to buy those guys separately. Any crossbow-wielding characters in my collection? Crossbow? Crossbow. No, I don't think I have any minis with crossbows. That's not to say I don't want to utilize a crossbow in my game. I do. I believe in crossbows. I think they should be used in a fantasy setting because I don't believe that they necessarily take away from the short bow and long bow aspect of the game. I think you can use all 3 of these and have very distinct advantages and disadvantages to using them all. That's my opinion. So your crossbow wielder is going to use bolts, and they're not going to be able to load as fast as a bow wielder could. You put up a master crossbowman in front of Legolas, Legolas is probably going to smoke him. But the bolts can be... I think the bolts should be easier to transport than a quiver. I don't know if you want to use limited ammunition in your games, or if you want to establish a frozen turn to represent, or an action to represent reloading your ranged weapon. But I think you could definitely make up differences in the ammunition type and perhaps range of crossbow versus short bow versus longbow. There's all 3 types in Elden Ring. The crossbows do not fire as far as the other 2. I think they load. Do they load faster? Well, you can load it and then you can have it immediately ready. Dark elves have plate armor. The ones that I have lamellar armor. No! Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, I see what you mean. Hold on. I want to see what you see. say 1994. Dark Elves Warhammer Fantasy. I'm looking for a very specific box. Like I used to have these boxes watched on eBay. I'm not seeing them now, though. Perhaps they sold. Ah, found ya. Oh, they are different, though. They are different. Unfortunately, they are very different. Yeah, I remember now. The Dark Elves also have different headgear. It's tall and pointy, but it's like flat. And there's a skull on the front, just to remind you of how dark they are. So I am going to have to buy these guys separate, which means the ones that I have will not go into Hero Quest. Ugh. Dang it. It's bad news. But it's okay. I got to add to my collection. After FT07 is FT08, and I don't have FT08. However, I will show you what is in FT08. I have most of the minis. I have all of the minis that are in FT08, but I don't know if I want to buy the FT08, you know? So here is FT08's box art. Let me shrink myself down. Box art for FT08. That is a Chaos Warrior. We've also got some other stuff going on here. We've got a Beastman Shaman, some Chaos Beastmen back there. The ones I have are wearing fish scale armor. It's cool. You think it's cool? I'd have to try to justify why High Elves would be a bad guy. I mean, I know it's my lore. I can write whatever. I get that much, but like I want it to make sense. Now this is the back of the FT0 box. It's kind of blurry, but there are 4 Chaos Beastmen. There's not actually not a Beastman Shaman like I wanted there to be. So they shouldn't have had him on the box art. The Chaos Beastmen are not the Battlemaster style. They are the Warhammer Fantasy Battle style. It also comes with 4 Skaven warriors. I've got 30 of these guys now. I do not need any more Skaven. And it comes with a Chaos Warrior. Now the Chaos Warrior, I've already got this version of him because I bought a second copy of the 3rd edition of Talisman just for the minis, and I sold the rest off. This Chaos Warrior looks different than the Chaos Warriors from Hero Quest, but I decided because he's available as a playable option in Talisman, I'm going to make him a playable option for Heroes as well. So I painted him red, and he is included with my hero selection for my custom Hero Quest campaign. Do I have stats for him? No. Do I have lore as to why a Chaos Warrior would be fighting for the side of heroes? No, but I can pretty much tell you I'm probably not gonna make the lore myself. I'll probably just let the players do that, and give them suggestions such as it's not really a Chaos Warrior, it's a guy in disguise. It's a Chaos Warrior that we've taken control of to fight for the side of good. It's not a Chaos Warrior at all. It just looks like one. The Chaos Warriors in Hero Quest have got their horns on their helmet linked at the very top. There is a sort of ball or sphere that they go into. And this one looks different. It's got wide, flat horns. So visually, they are very different anyway. So all pretty different. Those of you just tuning in, I took a look at the Toy Box series of Games Workshop stuff. I did that because I wasn't sure if I would be able to give Hero Quest the time that I feel it deserves today. So I'm going to push my actual Hero Quest stream to Thursday, and it'll be at the regular time, 9 to 10:30 a.m. But we will play Hero Quest at that time. And for today, I just wanted to open some boxes, decompress. It's been a very busy week. We've had lots of events going on that I won't talk about here. Lots of not channel-related events at all. Can't find them on eBay. Well, the Chaos, I did get all of these on eBay. The Chaos Warband is on eBay now, and so is the Knight's Retinue. They're on eBay right now. So yeah, you can find them on eBay. You have to look for Games Workshop FT and then follow the FT with a number like 01 through 08. And if you do that and search, you may not find any like now. Like I don't think there's any FT06 up now or FT07, but you can save the search. And when one gets listed, you will get an email, and they don't move very fast at all. So you could absolutely get the jump and get one. The only thing is they usually aren't listed as auctions. They are normally listed as purchases. And so the ones that are up there now are like $57, $59. And I always hesitate to buy stuff at that price. If I think I could get it a little bit cheaper by waiting or by watching and seeing if the guy will offer me a lower price to buy it now, I always do that. But the Chaos Warband is available on eBay right now. If you type in FT08 Warhammer, it's the first thing that should show up. And it's $56.95 USD right now. Buy it now. Free shipping. They're all plastic. That's one thing I need to tell you. They are all plastic. All of the Toy Box line, everything I've shown you today is plastic. Yes, it's very much playing the long game. It usually doesn't take them too long. Maybe a day or two, if that. Sometimes same day, they'll send you an offer. That's how I buy all of my stuff. Metal, right arrow, plastic. I have to stay with plastic as much as possible because Hero Quest is plastic. And because of the bases. I want all of the bases to match aesthetically, and there are no metal Hero Quest bases. If I could upgrade my set to use metal bases that look just like this, like if I could machine them out somehow, maybe I would, but I'd have to proxy every single character from the base game and the expansions, and I would have to proxy all the characters that I'm making for my factions. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that at all. A bonus before I go, using almost the exact same bases, the same size bases. It's a Death Knight from Dragon Strike. I really like the look of these guys. I think they fit perfectly with the Hero Quest minis. Skeleton in knight armor. I'm actually going to call these guys Draugr, and the reason that I'm doing that is because the Draugr are mentioned in the Hero Quest Choose Your Own Adventure style novels. So, Draugr, definitely going to get used. I do have a 3D printer. I don't prefer to print existing Citadel models. I feel like buying the extruded models is superior to printing my own. And it gives them their... It gives me all of the things that come with them, like the boxes and packaging and stuff, most of the time, if I can get them. I'm not interested in printing off. The only thing I'll print off is stuff that's like modifications to existing stuff. Somebody made a 2-headed goblin, and they made him a little bit bigger than normal. I printed that guy off. He was cool. He's really, really cool. The Orc Busker, I printed him off because I really want to have that original lineup of Hero Quest heroes. I want to have the new Mythic tier heroes represented in classic form, better said. What else? The only metal figures I do have, though, that I have to use are the Skaven special figures, because I really want to have my Skaven faction. This guy, Greyseer, he's metal, and metal, he'll have to stay. I'm not sure if I'm going to just like glue his plastic base onto a Hero Quest plastic base and call that good or what, but he's got to go into the game somehow. Packmaster, metal, pre-painted. And one of my favorite miniatures and characters ever, the Rat Ogre. These guys are tough to get a hold of. One Rat Ogre might cost as much as any of those Games Workshop toy box packages I just showed you. There are two variations. Maybe 3. They all have names as well. Oh, but they are awesome. I love the Rat Ogres. Hands down my favorite mini. Hands down my favorite Warhammer mini. Zeke, any idea on how to add a new battle cam to Bakine? Yeah, it's easy. You're in Bakine. I'm going to answer this question for Zeke since I've already got it up. I've always got Bakine out. It's... You go to your camera tool. You check out your existing battle cameras. You change the properties of just that camera. But that's going to change the properties of the camera for anybody ever who uses the skill now is going to get this camera sequence. Use item. You can change that one. Just the use item camera. You're wanting to know how to add like a brand new camera? You can add them per map. But I don't know about battles, because we certainly don't get the add button whenever we highlight the folder or any of the options. We don't get add new camera highlighted again. So I don't think we can add new battle cameras. We can just modify the ones we have. If you want the option to add more battle cameras and perhaps access them through events, that should go to Smile Boom requests. I'm going to try really hard to work on Bakine content tomorrow as far as events. Events is something I haven't touched at all. Where can we determine the gravity of the jump? You can go into game definition. Make sure you don't have another tool open like camera tool. game definition, and then rules and operations. And then right here in the middle of the screen, you've got different categories, and one of them is jump. This one is jumping strength 2. I think that's the default. Gravitational acceleration is something you can change. You can enable or disable jumping from elevation, and you can set a fall limit. Are you going to continue with the tutorial videos for Backing? Of course I am. They take a lot of time, and so I have this planned. The eventing. You're welcome. You're welcome, Mabel. I am going to continue the tutorial series. I'm going to showcase everything that every event does. That's going to take longer than I thought it would, because a lot of the events have a lot of more power than I anticipated when I started my series. I started my series before the release, but I didn't go into the events. I'm going to do a video comparing all of the events that don't work in Smile Game Builder when you transport your project to Backing. I'm going to do a video on how to transfer your SGB project to Backing. A lot of the content that I want to do is being done by other people or will be done. But it's my goal to do it in a very precise, effective way so that as many people as possible can understand and learn and do the things that I'm showing in the videos. And I noticed that there's a lot of videos that just give you like how to do this one small thing, and it's stuff that I've covered in my longer videos when I go through the process that all the processes that may be included in an entire menu. So there might be other videos creators out there right now that can answer your question, but I do plan on being able to answer all of your questions, period. I helped you make your mind up. You did buy Backing eventually. See, I wasn't sure if you were here just for the miniatures or Backing content. It's really, really cool that I'm meeting people that fall within both of those categories. Really, really cool. You never know who you're gonna meet who's interested in what. Like Justin from RPG in a Box was a Dragonscape player. Dragonscape. He commented on one of my tweets about I think I had Dragon Strike in the background of a picture. He commented on it was really cool that I had that. He had a lot of fond memories playing that, and it may have contributed to the overall idea of RPG in a Box to begin with. So all this stuff is interconnected in some way. Is there a way to add more than 4 players in combat? If there is, we are talking it's be pretty tough. Oh, get out of there. Get out of there. Bots. Goodbye, bots. Bye. That should take care of them. It's so sad. Bots on YouTube. Give me a break. I believe what'll happen if you try to add more than 4 is it just won't do anything. The same thing will happen if you add more party members in SGB when you're already full up. Just nothing will happen. So if you're trying to do like an event where you're switching party members out and you think it's perfect and you go and test play the project and nobody gets added to your party, it may be because the stinking event you didn't have an event panel in there to remove one of your players. You want to have 2 rows of 5 players? That's 2 rows of good guy 5 players? Woof. Woof. Like a 10-man raid. Well, we've got our 4 out of our 5 people total. Hero, Elf A, White Mage, and Warrior B. But in game definition, under Start Settings, I've got Royal C also added. He's blanked out. So he's part of the party, but... So we could probably go to Party and then add casts. Add remove. Cast to be changed. Add. Royal C. Add and exit. Okay. Test play. We hit that with the middle mouse button so that it runs independently of the engine. Would you look at that? I think I just found dinner. And we still only have 4 people. Our hero C is not there. So we only have 4 people that can participate. Shar had an idea for making a game using Sailor Moon characters, and that would be 5 people. So it was really necessary to have 5 people in the party, but I think to do that, you'll have to think of some workarounds. So one of the ways that I would work around that is if we can't dynamically switch party members out in battle, and you have to have 10 people, make a character, make an actor that is 2 of your people. Same model. One model, one 2D or 3D model that is representative of both of them together. So they're together on the sprite sheet. Give them double the stats, or, I mean, it's going to be a workaround no matter what you do. It's going to suck. The other thing is you can transport your people to a map, not this map, but like a special battle map. Specify the battle map. Put your other heroes there that you know will be there. Or you can even have them like where they're events, and they'll switch out depending on what the player has selected for their party. It'll be a custom selection menu. Not something you make in the layout tool, but something you'd have to event for now. And then they'll appear on the battle map, and depending on who is present on the battle map, but not a playable character, depending on who is present there, and depending on which switches have been turned on to represent those players in that battle map, you will have access to skills that those players would have to contribute to the battle. What about a skill or an option that would exchange characters in and out? Yeah, if you can, I haven't tested that. If there is, it would be in the Battle Events tab, execute and check results, status window, recover, make battle cast, specify action, terminate forcibly. It's not a battle event. It's not a battle specific command script. So you'd have to see if the party command add remove party member or add cast to the party train, rearrange the order would work in battle. But that would need to be coded, so it would be plug-in. Possibly. There's a lot that I think people think have to be plugins that can be evented. But if you guys do have access to the system functions, yeah, you could jump right into that. Core of the problem, being able to create 2 hero parties separately. After that, the second is being able to exchange in between that. I think it's just going to have to be, so I don't think that's anything that can't be evented too. I think you're just going to have to create a system of your 8 to 10 people, and then before the battle starts, switch out your people. Have the event set up where just before the battle starts, your event panel will have your player be able to pick which heroes he wants in the battle. The other way to do this is just to script your entirely own battle system. You can event it. You'll probably be able to script it with C#, but right now I know factually that you can event it. Tenkai Star evented a tactics battle system, and you can use your own variables and switches to refer to the player characters and such. You don't have to use the built-in hit points, magic points, dexterity, all that. You can check those values to use for your variables, but you can use events in your battle to change those values at the variable level in order to reflect like how the party's actually doing during battle. It is complicated. It's not going to be an easy thing, that's for sure. But that's because there are many ways to do it. And how you do it, if at all, will depend greatly on other things, like chiefly your own comfort level and your preference. But besides that, and skill level, which, you know, you can only get better at this stuff. So don't be put off by doing complicated things. Try it. Break stuff and see what works. But one of the other factors would be like, how scalable do you want this to be? Do you want the player to be able to choose their own party members before each battle? Do you think that you'll want scenarios where specific battles will require that you have certain people, and the framework that you build will be more complicated if the answers to any of those questions are yes, and not by a little bit. It'll be multiplicatively more complicated, which isn't a bad thing if you are starting small. But you can start small. Anyways, I'm out of time. I have to talk to somebody a little later. Being interviewed, depending, that'll end at some point. But after that ends, I will absolutely link the interview up for you guys to see and hear. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you guys will be able to check that out if you're interested. I'll keep all that a surprise. I'll keep the details of that a surprise until it's ready. But for now, yeah, I have to go. So thank you guys very much for stopping in. I really appreciate you hanging out this morning. If you're just tuning in, cheers. You didn't miss much. I just unboxed some stuff, and I played with Bakin just a tad bit. And that's today's video. The Bakin tutorial videos will come. I do claim to be the premier source of Bakin education. So everything that you see being put up everywhere else, those are subjects I plan to cover in great detail with expertise behind. So I'm not just calling myself premier source for clout or for attention. That's a title that I will earn. Tom, have a good, let me know if you sleep. Oh, you're the guy that offered the Skaven. I looked everywhere for that message and I couldn't find it. I don't even remember where it was. I looked on Discord. I looked on YouTube comments. I don't need the Advanced Hero Quest Skaven anymore, though. I bought a box of Skaven that came with, that were Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and so they didn't have the holes in them for the shields, which was important to me. Unfortunately, that means I didn't get the variations in weapons. Get out of here, bot. Get out of here. Get out. Block. Goodbye. Block. Okay. Idiot. add to block list. There we go. Now you're gone. Jeez Louise. Find your love elsewhere. Ugh. But I do have the Skaven that I need. I bought a huge lot of a ton of Skaven, more than I'm going to need, and now I'll be able to do another Hero Quest project that I have lined up in the future where I replace every single faction with just Skaven. It's the Skaven, the gathering horde, the skittering horde, the skittering vermin, the skittering... Well, we'll come up with something good. Anyways, thanks again, guys. I'll see you later. Bye for now. Have a fantastic rest of your day, night, wherever you are in the world. Cheers.